on FeMetal TV, and we are so privileged to be hanging out tonight with OTEP. She's in town at Club Red, getting ready to do a concert for 13th Floor. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. Hey, I want to start off by asking you, I've been reading the story about how Generation Doom came into play, the title of the album. And so I have to ask you, with all the recent violence that's gone on, the shooting in Orlando, the attempt on LA Pride the next day, the recent events that have happened in Dallas, do you think that we are heading the direction to be a generation of doom?
Well, I certainly hope not, and that's one of the reasons I wrote the record. It has both meanings. It's binary, in that it means either we will be the last generation, or we will be the generation that ends all of these things. And if you are do any sort of study of history, you'll see that when great movements occur, great violence also occurs. So we lost Gandhi to violence, we lost Martin Luther King to violence, we lost both
John Lennon.
Yes, we lost John Lennon to violence, and so I think that what we have to do is we have to look at not just what 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people are doing, but what the vast majority of people are doing, and then those of us who care enough about it need to continue to lightly nudge everyone in the right direction, because that's the dangerous I think point is when you have someone like Trump, who's out there spewing all this hate, spewing all this ugliness into the zeitgeist, and people pick up on that and
follow.
Sure, and it gives them an excuse, and it empowers them in a way. It's like, they have someone they can look up to. This is what he's saying, and he's running for the highest office in the country.
So it must be true. We must follow that.
Exactly.
We should follow that.
I think so. But in any way, it sort of I think enhances someone's already dementia or their own little madness that they have. It sort of empowers that, and so that's why we have to be careful with that kind of thing.
Why did you choose to name the tour after the Equal Right, Equal Left song on the Generation album?
Well, because of the 49 people that were massacred in Orlando. Prior to that, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I am openly gay. And
we know.
Surprise,
that's coming. We have a question.
But the thing is that I wrote Equal Rights, Equal Lefts before any of this happened, because without media coverage, not a lot of people know that gays and lesbians and bisexual trans people are under attack every single day in this country. Not only by bullies and haters and homophobics, but also by law enforcement and also legislators. So we have states all across this country that are trying to enact anti-gay legislation where they could say that it's okay to discriminate against gay people. So this club's not going to book OTEP because she's out lesbian, and that would be legal if they were able to get these laws passed. So there was 5 or 6 states that did that, and we were. I wrote the song about that, and then the tragedy happened in Orlando, and then they tried to blame it on, that it was some radical Muslim terrorist attack. When to me, I don't see it that way. What I saw was a closeted homophobic man who had been told his whole life through his religion that being gay is wrong. So he fought with it. He would go and visit these people and go visit this club and became part of the community. And then when he couldn't kill the gay inside himself, he became even more religious, and then he became a zealot.
100% agree with you. Sat there watching it unfold the next morning in LA before the LA Pride thing came up. We were going to Playboy Jazz, and I turned to the house full of people and I said, this man is fighting his own homosexuality.
That's right. And
I knew it instantly.
And some people don't think that. They think, well, if you're gay, then you can't be homophobic. No, that's the problem, because we're taught in this society that being gay is wrong.
Correct.
And so for me, this was about celebrating equal rights, equal lefts for all people, but primarily for the 49 that were lost in Orlando.
That's great. What a wonderful tribute to them. As a woman myself, I have kind of a strong, direct personality, and oftentimes when I'm really passionate about something, it's kind of misinterpreted as being aggressive. And I'm wondering if you also encounter the same thing, being a woman with a strong personality.
Yes, of course. I think that is part of the struggle. A lot of people don't think that it's a real thing, but it is. When a man is passionate about something, he's sort of considered that he's a go-getter. Sometimes when a woman is passionate about something, she's considered to be a bitch, or and so I don't really care about that stuff. To me, it's about going after my own dreams, my own goals, and trying to inspire as many people as possible, regardless of gender. But it tends to be an issue where women become more, I think, villainized for being ambitious.
Yeah, labeled for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. What is the most difficult obstacle that you have encountered being a woman in the music industry, and do you feel that being a lesbian compounded it?
The most difficult, I think that just the stereotypes that people have about what women are supposed to do on a stage or on a platform, what we're supposed to wear, what we're supposed to say, how we're supposed to behave. Being lesbian as well, I think, might have caused some people to think that I hate men for some reason, but my band is all male and they're all straight, and my father's a straight man and my brothers are all straight men. Well, not all of them, but I tend to look at I tend to try to stay on the positive side, because what I've seen by being a strong, to lead by example as a strong person and someone who's ambitious, and also lead as a member of the LGBT community, is that I've seen more and more people coming to our shows and feeling included. And that's what's most important to me, is that not what people hate on me about or what they think about me. It's the people that are inspired by what we're doing and come to the shows and feel welcomed. And in rock music, or any sort of any music genre in particular, gay people or minorities in general seem to feel at risk. But at our shows, they're welcome, and that's really one of the highlights of my career so far.
That's great too, because you value the people and they value you, all people, and I do. That's awesome. Last question, because I know you got a lot to do, and you guys are first night of the tour. You just rolled in. We at FeMetal TV support raising awareness of organ donation. One of our on-air hosts, Mercedes, is 24. She's 6 years on dialysis, needs a kidney. I know you do a lot of philanthropy work. What are you most passionate about out of all your philanthropy work?
That's a tough one, because I don't know if one deserves to be higher than the other one as far as what I'm passionate about. I feel like I've done a lot of work with St. Jude's Hospital with kids with cancer who were diagnosed with really they're the most bravest kids you've ever seen, and anytime I'm having a bad day, I just remember back to meeting some of those folks and those kids, and knowing, wow, what they're facing and is nothing compared to what I am. But I guess currently making sure that gays and lesbians are being treated properly in this country is vitally important to me, and that we deserve. We're citizens, we're tax-paying citizens of this country, and we deserve to be treated equally. And there's nothing wrong with who you are. You're born this way.
Exactly.
If you're religious, you've got to know that you were created this way. If there wasn't supposed to be gay in the world, then your God wouldn't have created gay in the world. So your God loves you. I'm also an animal rights activist. I think that because they have no voice, the animals have no voice, and they're treated so terribly. They're tortured and all just so they can
Tested on.
All so that they can just become a meal. And I don't think that, for me, personally, my slight selfish appetite is not worth their life, their entire life. Most of those animals don't live to be older than 2 years old. When pigs are taken to slaughter, they are dehydrated for at least 36 hours and not fed. So when they're in those trucks and they're in this kind of heat, like in Arizona, imagine being that. And in fact, in Canada, there's an Instagram page called, I think it's called Toronto Pig Save. I think I may be quoting that wrong, and I'm sorry if I am. But they have a video of a woman who's in Canada, which is crazy. She's under felony indictment for giving water to some thirsty pigs inside of the trailer because they said that she contaminated them. So those animals allegedly were then just killed for no reason. They weren't even used for meat because she gave them water. And all she was doing was trying to be compassionate. It is.
That's horrible.
And in the egg industry, it's the same thing. Male chicks are ground up alive on conveyor belts because they're deemed unnecessary. This is for an omelet. It's not worth it to me. It's not. So I'm proud vegan. You guys can be carnivores if you like, but that's my choice to not add any more evil in the world. There's so much. We talked about it earlier. There's so much death and destruction and cruelty, and I just don't want to be a part of it. I just don't want it on my soul. I don't want it on my mind. I just want to have some compassion for other creatures.
My sister says, I don't need anything with a mother or a face.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought that was
you think about it this way. Well, especially like you think about cow's milk, and you're like, who was the first person that discovered that you could drink cow's milk? Like, what were you doing with that cow, by the way? Because cow's milk is meant for the baby. So your mother's milk is meant for you, but cow's milk is meant for baby cows. So
how did we get there? You have to wonder where it all started.
Yeah, what guy found that out? What was he doing with that cow?
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's been awesome. We look forward to seeing the show tonight. Thanks for tuning in to FeMetal TV. We were hanging out with OTEP. Remember, to be an organ donor, it's a life-saving decision. Stay tuned.